this a turkey mask. A turkey mask. Yes. Blood Freak from 1972 from Something Weird Videos. This is a midnight movie. The world's only turkey monster anti-drug pro-Jesus gore film. I'm going to read that again. The world's only turkey monster anti-drug pro-Jesus gore film. A turkey mask. Let me explain. For those who think they've seen everything comes Blood Freak, a rampaging turkey monster on a marijuana high. Finding himself sandwiched between Bible-thumping good girl Angel and her bad girl sister Anne, a muscle-bound biker named Herschel. Steve Hawke, star of two obscure Tarzan films, falls under Anne's seductive spell when she offers him some weed. Quickly becoming a writhing spastic addict, I have a feeling I'm hooked. The big galoot then gets a job at a turkey farm when he's fed meat treated with an experimental drug, and like any junkie who eats tainted turkey meat, turns into a man with a giant turkey head. Yes, a man with a giant turkey head, who also gobbles like a big dumb bird. Still hungry for a fix, Herschel the Turkey Man proceeds to attack fellow drug addicts whose blood he drinks with his pointy little turkey beak. In one magical moment, he even buzzsaws the leg off a pusher who holds his stump and howls for what seems like days, all of which is punctuated by philosophical pondering by co-director Brad Grinter, Flesh Feast. Before two potheads with a machete decide to go on their version of a turkey shoot. Wow. A monster movie quite unlike any other. Blood Freak has a jaw-dropping, almost legendary milestone in crackpot filming. The ultimate cinematic turkey. Gobble, gobble. Ed Wood is a legendary filmmaker from the 1950s of just making these low-budget but true to his passion craft, and that's what this is. Yeah, next Vietnam vet who was just trying to make an honest living. Pretty much just is saying, "Hey, I'll take some experimental drugs." You know, two well-meaning scientists. But ultimately, they just make something out of their control, and going from just trying to make a living, he just wants to maybe just smoke a marijuana joint into becoming a crazed turkey assassin. The Zoom-ins. This is probably one of the WTF movies that I just watched. Not like WTF of Sailor, not just like the it's so interesting to watch of Sailor Suit and Machine Gun. This is the complete opposite. I guess you can just explain it of just, I don't know, just the cheap lighting itself led to the surreal moment of it. Even if it gets restored, it still looks like it's 480p that then got acid washed. So whenever there's a billing going on and there's a close-up of the turkey head, of just the close-up view, it's just like, what? It's like, okay. And it's like an hour in. Let's have a person who's just discovers the turkey that's just pretty much committing a murder, and she just screams for a full minute. Ah! Ah! 30 seconds, like just a 30-second holding this scream. And it's just like, what? They're just focusing on her screaming. I don't get it. I get it. I just don't give a dang. Okay? But at the same time, the turkey mask is so unique. It's just great. It's like, okay, let's just see him slowly literally becoming a turkey that he pretty much just devours an entire cooked turkey, but then he suffers a grand mal seizure. That's a seizure that lasts for more than 30 minutes. Petite mal is less than that. I never thought I'd be able to using that term in a movie review. Yeah, the grand mal happens, and you do feel kind of sorry for it when he has that seizure. It's like you never want to see a person have that. So it's like, holy smokes, you know. But then when all the billings happen, it's just like, what? They're hanging upside down. A couple of them are conscious, and he pretty much just becomes a phlebotomist. Wow. All while wearing this mask of this guy in this t-shirt, and who is suddenly just wearing a giant turkey mask. Like, what? So in between the cheap effects, the cheap lighting, and the camera, it's like this movie cost $25,000 to make in 1972, so that's probably less than $1 million nowadays. Yeah. And of course, you gotta have a little bit of TNA, so there's a little bit of sex. You know, I mean, they're all adults, so, but it's just like, what? I don't get it. You know, it's like we get the actors, technically they are actors, having the most dull conversations about it, like sounding monotone, talking about life and drugs and stuff like that. It's like, it somehow works in just the bizarro category that I like. And it's like, okay, let's get this guy with a mustache and these two potheads, and one who looks like he needs a mustache, and you know they are SAing a woman, but then our turkey hero comes trotting along, well, really quickly actually. He manages to do, and one of the probably the most interesting scene, takes the guy, takes him to a table saw, has him down. Apparently this guy is very strong and is able to pretty much amputate a leg. And then there's just this bizarre cutaway to what it was like. Instead of the actual saw amputating the leg, it's like right near it, stops, and then they actually brought in an amputee for the finished result. So yeah, all the while there's a large amount of screaming going on for quite a while. It's like, wow. Just wow. You know, it moves at a good pace that I like. It's like, this is such what's the word I'm looking for? Bombastic way of just, not over the top, but bizarro filmmaking. I liked it just for how you just gotta see this. And it's like, dang, you know. The director comes in with some commentary about explaining, like, hey, we have all these coincidences and catalysts in our life that can happen whenever we're, like, at the supermarket or on the street or whatever, and we're not aware of it, but they eventually do change our lives later, which does add to the nature of the film, but trying to get it to go for an 80 minutes and having this, and it's just like, that was jarring. But it just somehow makes sense in a very bizarre way. And you know what, with the, like, this being the anti-drug movie, and it kind of also maybe explaining like the horrors of what happened in like Vietnam and stuff. So there's also a little bit of that. I like kind of commentary on that. It's just what happens when it's a giant turkey head and close-up angles and people upside down and pecking and stuff like that. So it's like, what? Yeah, the actor who played it, Steve Hawks, called this was a sad chapter in my life. So even he didn't like it. Turkey facts. You can discern the difference between a male and female turkey by looking at their droppings. I could be wrong, but the male has a J-shaped and the female's is spiral-shaped. Yeah, really. They can actually fly short distances, upwards of 55 miles an hour, but when they are being bred inside like the cage right there, they can't exactly do that. So plus what they're eating off the ground versus naturally, that's why they can't fly. And they can run upwards of 18 miles an hour. They weigh upwards of roughly 24 pounds if I'm not mistaken. And they have something called caruncles, which I believe are like natural bumps on the neck, which is interesting to see. And the young ones are called stout soults, SOULT or POULT, something like that. And I don't know what their life expectancy is, but yeah, they can run pretty fast. I was surprised by that. And the first turkey to get pardoned by the president was in 1989. Very interesting. And one last one. We all know that Ben Franklin wanted the national bird to be a turkey because, one, it was domestic here in the United States. Two, it stood proud and firm, unlike the bald eagle, which was known to, what was that, stubborn and something to do with nests or something like that. I don't know. You know, it's like you learn a little bit about turkeys today. Makes sense of that. And of course, we've got some other extras right here. But yeah, do I recommend this? Just for how bizarre it is, and the drug and stuff like that. Yeah, I do recommend that you watch Blood Freak. Which, oh yeah, by the way, I need Raya's going to watch the movie. PS4 doesn't display the image on the TV, so it's like, really. Thankfully, it was on YouTube, but I am going to watch the extras on this later this week. So yeah, watch Blood Freak.